All right, traders. What we're looking at right here is my pre-market analysis, as stated on the top left. Right. Um, I got Apple trending down overall. It came to support and is now creating a series of higher lows. Looking to be patient and wait for a setup. At the moment, it has bounced on the support level. At the moment it has bounced on the support level and pushing to the upside. Okay, so this is what I was looking at pre-market. This is the area of support as we can see. Um, and then we have its overall trend to the downside, right? It's trend to the downside, and then boom, came into this area of support, and now it's wedging to the upside at this current moment, right? So pre-market, as we can see, hopefully you guys can see that, but it's it's bouncing. It's bouncing right there. There's one green candle, two green candles, right? This is pushing to the upside, and it's heading to an area where it's resistant. Um, okay. So pullback and a possible continuation of the momentum question mark levels are laid out where I'd be interested in buying and selling, right? So I'd be interested in buying at the green market, which would be my area of supply, and then the area of demand is these red lines stated here. Okay, so now taking a look at SPY, what I want to emphasize is that, right, that this white line is also, it could be an area of resistance or also neutral lines. Red tending to sell, green areas tending to buy. Okay, so SPY holding up in an area that was once a huge resistance on the 180-day chart, all-time highs, and it's holding up pre-market, right? Looking to play the long setup if it holds above, and a possible short if I see it trying to make pushes up and fail, right? So this white, this area of white, as we can see on the chart, it's an area of resistance, an area of resistance, an area of resistance. And if we go further to the right, the SPY has been pretty strong. So this area of resistance is now acting as an area of support, as we can see, making higher support levels. So this is a bullish indicator, right? So now it's holding up pre-market. I'm looking to purchase around this green line, and we have resistance levels to the upside as marked, in the red. So this is what um, SPY and Apple were looking like this morning. And let's get into our live trading video. Okay, so here I just start the video. I don't know, for some reason, I hit the recording. I don't know if, I mean, it had to be a problem on my end, but I didn't get the full screen. This should work. Okay, so here I am unlocking my account. So this is real money that I'm trading. And as we can see, the market is making a push up. I have my zones laid out. As we guys can see, this area of green is the area of support, right? And then this area of red would be an area of resistance, or supply and demand, an area where buyers, have a tendency of buying based off of previous history. Pre-market, it confirmed that. Market open, it confirmed that buyers were in this area, and sellers in this area, right? It turned it up for a little bit, got rejected at this area, made a push down, and we can see it trying to bot up and break out, but sellers took over this, right? So I'm just being extremely patient. Market open, right? Rule of thumb, I let about 5 minutes go by, to figure out the direction of the stock, or at least get a better feel for it before I take a move. And so, yeah. let's start skipping through this, right? Okay, so here we have Apple still. We have it creating a higher support level, as you guys can see, still being patient and watching this. Still being patient and watching this. It's getting into this area of resistance, It got rejected with a hard push to the downside, right? I got my ladder open and I think I started trying to change my position size, excuse me. I'm looking at Microsoft. Microsoft is underperforming. It's meaning Microsoft against the market, it's underperforming in that aspect. The market is stronger, right? The market is stronger, so this would be an underperformer. We go back to SPY, and then look. We go back 1 second. Boom. It's coming into in our area of supply, as we stated before. The first one, it was that supply zone from pre-market. That was once a resistance, and now it's coming back to an area that was once bought up before. So we can start skipping this. Well, it's not shown the most perfect on the screen. But as we can see, I'm starting to look at options contracts, right? Starting to look at options contracts. Made another push up. So pretty much what I'm seeing here is a series of higher lows. Came into this area, rejected. I didn't play it to the short side. Would have been a nice short, but that really wasn't my um like my idea to, right? I was still waiting on a direction from the market and also just, being patient on what I was seeing. I didn't yet understand the market at this point, and I was just looking to be patient to, you know, waiting to capitalize on the move. Okay, so look, this is a look. Okay, so SPY made a huge push to the downside, as you guys can see. Huge push. Exactly what happened here, I'm not exactly sure. Look, as we can see, made a huge push to the downside. As we can see, and I was in the trade. So you really can't see it. But what happened was it made a huge push to the downside, and I purchased the stock. Mm, yeah. So look, I'm in. I'm up. I'm up a point percent. I'm up. It's I'm setting up my target there and my stop loss. And as you guys can see, so okay, boom, I moved the screen, right? Awesome. So I set up my stop. I got this entry at this blue line, right? I got the entry at the blue line. My stop was going to be at the bottom where it invalidated my trade. And my target was to be the previous area that was supported. You know, like I was saying before, a previous area of support sometimes acts as an area for resistance. So this was my stop loss and target. And yeah, so let's watch what happens here. Ah, freaking take out the screen. But look, it starts breaking out, right? I'm up, I'm up. Yeah, so this is my target. One thing I think I was being a little impatient after I saw this, this area. Look, because it had so what that order was right there is I was just moving my stock to break even, my stop to break even. Reason being I was already up 101. I was moving my stock to break even, right? Still trying to be patient. But after I saw this huge move to the upside with an aggressive move right back down, in complete honesty, I think it was a factor of multiple things. As you guys can see right here on the left side, it kind of shows where I got in and out. But um, I think I think just seeing this move have an aggressive move to the downside, I don't think I was completely prepared for it. So when I jumped in, like it was like a quick thing. It was like boom, like get in without thinking. And so with these quick moves as well, in complete honesty, I started to trade emotionally. I started trading emotionally. I think, in complete honesty, I did. Um, and just the way that, like, as this stock was going up, I was moving my stop up. I moved it to break even. You see, as we can see here, I'm moving it up slowly. So this is like trailing my stop. I'm trailing my stop. As you guys can see, at one point I'm up 15% on my investment, and it keeps going up. It keeps going up. And it's just making these aggressive pushes to the downside. And you see, look, I start moving my stop loss. I think what I should have been worried about is protecting the profits that I already had. And I'm saying this in the sense that, in a sense that, like, moving my stop up to break even, I wasn't gonna lose in this trade. You see, I try to get in there for 2.32 on my risk. So that would have been a good sell, but I didn't get it, right? I didn't get it, so I think I started getting a little nervous. You see, this comes all the way back down, almost to my stop, which was the break even. So I think at this point, I think emotions took over my trading. I think the break even stop made sense because when you are in profit, especially that much, like at least a 101, I think I was up 1.9 to 1, almost 2 to 1. Um, and it comes back almost to your entry, especially when it's an aggressive move to the upside and making a huge aggressive move to the downside. In complete honesty, it's something that was it shook me out. It shook me out. It did shake me out. But what I want to get a little bit better at, and one thing I realized today is I want to get a little bit better at, and what I want to work on is if I'm up that 1.5 R, don't look to necessarily move down my target, but I should be looking to move my stop, to protect the profits that I have already made, like let the stock have potential to go up to the upside, let it have potential to go upside. As you guys can see, I moved my stop to the bottom of this candle. If it was to break this, you see it made a move up, pulled back down. It's finding its area of support. I'm willing to stick with this. So yeah, this was good on this part, moving the stop, but the target should have been where I had left it originally. As you guys can see, I think I end up moving it down. Like I start getting conflicted. I start becoming impatient with this move. With the big swings to the up and downside. And not even it being on a downtrend. Um, I'm already in profit. I should just leave my thing to stop. My stop to, look, I move my stop. It's a good stop, right? Look, and then boom, I started getting impatient. Like, why? If I had moved my stop there, I guess the thing was that my stop didn't trigger. Maybe that's what caused me that emotional roller coaster. But look, I think if I'm up 1.5 R, 1 R minimum, I mean maximum, like 1 R minimum. Yeah, let's say 1 R minimum. Move my stop to break even, have a risk-free trade, and like trail my stop up. Okay, but my profit target shouldn't change. It shouldn't have changed in this instant. It didn't make sense to. I mean, I still made my a little bit more than 1 to 1. I made my 1 to 1. Plus, I'm able to cover on commissions. But as you guys can see, look at this. The idea the idea was correct. What I had got into this trade, and the risk management was good. The stop loss was good. The take profit. Once I moved that, I understood like this is a. I had got emotional in this. I had got emotional. I let my emotions take over, and I didn't trade the way I was supposed. I didn't at least manage the trade the way I was supposed to manage it. Um, I think overall this was I think this was a plus setup, or at least a B plus. It was a B plus setup. It was trading in a zone below my buy zone. You know, um, what made sense was at least to have a target into this area of supply. This area of previous, like where buyers had stepped in twice, and it could be now acting as the area of resistance, right? So that could have been at least my target, right? And that's what it should have been. It should have been me letting my shares ride, being a little more patient, and sticking through it, because and then look, that's what happens right after. So as you guys can see on the chart, it broke my target. My target was 260, right? 2.5 R. It went, and I had bought it down here. I had bought it down here. I had my stop loss down here. Went all the way up here. I'm not saying I'll catch the whole move, but at least to get a fill on my target where I think is a reasonable trade, to leave my stop there, I mean to leave my target there, if I'm shooting for that, at least commit to it. But these look, it had wild swings, yeah, but no, like my bias aside, what I think of about this, the way this stock is moving aside, my entry was good. My stop loss and risk reward was great. My take profit, once I started moving that, I realized, I wasn't trading the way I was supposed to. And I, it's not that I missed out on this move, but I didn't respect my rules. I didn't respect my rules. I didn't respect my rules. And what ends up happening is, yeah, it keeps pushing. It pushed absolutely exponentially. It pushed to like 305, three somewhere, right? Yeah, I pushed to 305. I got in at like $1.96. That's about a dollar, and $1 per contract. Per contract. If I'm buying one contract, it's $100. 10 contracts, $1,000. My risk was only my risk was 20 cents. So I got a 1-on-1 on this trade. Um, I hope you guys can learn from my mistakes. I hope I'm gonna be able to learn from my mistake. to be more emotionally intelligent to the weeks to come, the days to come, the trades to come, and to be consistent about how I go about each trade. If I have an area that I'm looking for as a target, it's for a reason. What wasn't for a reason is when I changed my plan, when I changed my target. Because me changing my target isn't for a reason. It's 100% emotionally based. The stop loss was good. I reached 1.5R. I put my stop to break even. It makes sense. That's yeah. There's a reason. It's for me to conserve capital. But me to completely change or like ask for less from the market, not even ask for less, but look for less in the market with no reason other than emotions. It's on my end. It was I think it was a A trade, B plus trade. Management was a F. Management was a F. I came out with a little bit of money. I came out with a little bit of money. I came out. I was conserving my capital on the downside, but I should trust myself more to at least get to that 2 to 1, 3 to 1, at least to my targets, and stick to it because they have reason and analysis. After I'm setting up the target in an area that there's confliction. There's an area of confliction here, buyers and sellers, right? And I'm saying confliction because sellers are pushing aggressive. Buyers buy it up here. Buyers buy it up here. It's an area of confliction. There's conflicted. It's consolidation, and then boom, it tanks. And then where does it start conflicting again? It starts conflicting about in the same area. You see, wherever it got rejected was about this same area. Where it started, having trouble getting up and over, it was in this area. So that's why I had my target there. I had my target right before that. And it made sense why. It made sense why. So, if there's anything you can take away from this trade, from this trade I took today, um, yeah, just stick to your plan, conserve capital, and yeah, learn from your mistakes. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys learn something from this. I hope this was at benefit to somebody else, and I hope it's of course a benefit to myself. If you guys want to see more videos like this, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Yes, sir.